The road less traveled? I don't know. If you're a local, you might not think so, but for many people visiting, West St. Pete might be considered less traveled. Why? Because most people necessarily don't know a lot about West St. Pete. You usually think about St. Pete Beach or St. Pete downtown, but St. Petersburg, Florida has so many cool, awesome areas that this video today is going to be all about West St. Pete. So if you want to dig in and really get to know St. Petersburg, then stick with me because I'm going to show you some of the really cool spots to visit and take you around a couple neighborhoods so that you really get a good understanding. And we're going to do that all in the maps. So let's jump into my computer and not waste any time. Let's go. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about the St. Petersburg, Tampa Bay area, then make sure to subscribe. And if you want to be the first to get notified of all things happening around the St. Petersburg area, make sure to hit that bell notification so that you don't miss out on a thing. My name is Gina. My team and I have been helping people just like you move to the Tampa Bay area for the last 11 years, and we absolutely love it. So if you're looking to move in 3 days or 3 years or even 3 months, reach out to us. Let us help you make a smooth move to the Tampa Bay area. All of our information is in the description below, and I would love to hear from you. All right, we are in my computer and we are going to talk all about West St. Pete. I am so excited. I hope you guys are too, because there's some really cool spots I want to show you in West St. Pete. So let's get started. As by now, if you've seen any other of the St. Petersburg videos, then you're probably familiar with the St. Petersburg map, but let's take a look and zoom in so that you can get one more idea. Or if this is your first video of the series, then let's do it so that you can get acquainted with St. Petersburg. So we are here. Everything in red here is St. Petersburg encompassing. That's the downtown, the south, the west, the north, and St. Pete Beach area. If we zoom in here, what we're looking at for St. Pete West is anything from the 275 freeway, which you'll see right here where the top of the cursor is, to the west. So we call St. Pete West anything from the 275 west, and only on the side, I guess, not encompassing St. Pete Beach and on the east side of the Interbay waters. That is what I'm going to consider St. Pete West for this video so that you can understand the areas that we're looking at. The map here will also show you a good understanding of St. Pete West so that you know where we're looking. So St. Pete West is basically, I would say, a town less traveled, only because a lot of times if you're not from the area, you don't know a lot about St. Pete. What's on the west side besides the beach? So we're going to really dig into it, and I'm going to show you some of the areas around St. Pete West that are really awesome to check out and a couple of cool gems. So first I want to start by highlighting the downtown area. As we talked about in other videos, the downtown area is essentially this section right here where you're going to find most of the downtown. Now, for terms of this video, I said everything 275 and east here is St. Pete West. But for this video, I'm considering this historic Kenwood area also part of downtown. So we're not going to talk about this in today's video. It's really just going to be everything else above and below this small section. So with that being said, I want to first tell you about a couple of the neighborhoods that you're going to find in the St. Pete West area. So the first is, let's always start from downtown St. Pete. Let's start right here. So that's a good starting point. If you took St. Pete and you were downtown and you got in your car and you wanted to travel over, check out the west side, what you would necessarily maybe first run into is this area right down here called Child's Park. It's right to the west of 275. It's right above sort of the Gulfport area, and essentially it's labeled Child's Park. Now, you can do your own research on this area and find out anything that you want to find out about it, but
I would tell you to kind of just keep on driving through that area and head over to some a little bit more family-friendly neighborhoods that I think you're gonna like a little bit better. Okay, so the first one that we're gonna take a look at is Pasadena on the Gulf. And that's right at the very, very bottom of St. Pete West. You can kind of see the red line here still. Now, if I zoom in here for you to take a look, we can get acquainted. Pasadena on the Gulf is a cute area. Essentially, it has a lot of cobblestone streets, which you'll find sort of along this way. It's one of the only towns that's literally a 15-minute bike ride. So say you lived anywhere in the Pasadena on the Gulf area, which is right here, and you wanted to go to St. Pete Beach for the day, you could actually ride your bike. You just go over the Pasadena Avenue Bridge here, and you are essentially at the beach. So that's one of the really cool spots about West St. Pete is you are closer to the beaches. So if that's something that you like to do, you can definitely take advantage of that. Now, Pasadena on the Gulf is a very active community as well. And so you'll find a lot in this area is a lot of retirees or people that just want to live the Florida lifestyle, want to be able to walk and to kind of get, to the beaches and have that sort of relaxing lifestyle. You don't have a lot of traffic a lot of the times coming out this way unless it's along this main road, only because it's a little more inland from a lot of the main roads, as we talked about in some of the other videos of the 275, the alternate 19, and then the 19, which is right here. So since you're so far this way, you'll see that you won't see a ton of traffic. One of the cool things that we'll talk about in some of the other areas that I highlight here for you is that South Pasadena has a fun little thing. Every once in a while, you'll see peacocks walking along the road. And that's always really fun. If you like peacocks or like to check out just fun areas that have different kind of quaint cultures and history, South Pasadena is definitely one of those areas.
Okay, so now we're gonna move up a teeny bit along the water side here. And we are gonna go from Pasadena on the Gulf, which is down here. You can see me highlighting it. And we are going to go up the water side here, up this way along Park Street North. And we're gonna talk about a couple areas. One is this area, which it doesn't necessarily say it on the map, but it's called Jungle Prada. And you can see here, Jungle Terrace. Now these two places are super fun little areas. They have a ton of history. And one of the cool things that you can see is that in this area, there are massive, just really cool jungle-like trees. So as you can see driving through the neighborhood, you see all these trees and they just hang over the homes. It's super, super beautiful. And everybody has a lot of pride in their homes around this neighborhood. Now, one of the cool things about this neighborhood is that as you drive through, you'll see a lot of peacocks. Now, this is the known area. If you want to see peacocks roaming freely, you are definitely going to want to check out area, just like right around this area. You'll see a ton of them. I think there's known to be almost 20 that sort of roam the streets of Jungle Terrace and Jungle Prada. So definitely an area to check out if you are in love with peacocks or if you just want to check out some really cool culture and some really cool areas. The other thing I want to highlight is if I zoom in here, you see the Jungle Prada Tavern. Now, this is an actually really cool little spot, the Jungle Prada Tavern. It is known to be taken over from a club back in the day that was a speakeasy. And it's said, and I don't know if this is true, but hey, you always want a little bit of history, right? Rumors have it that Al Capone and Babe Ruth have visited this establishment. So if you ever get a chance to check out Jungle Prada Tavern, then let me know if you have any vibes of those guys hanging out there. It's also right next to this amazing park, and if you're a resident of the area, this is definitely one of those spots that everyone kind of comes and congregates and hangs out. So it's a good place to get to know your neighbors and just get to be part of the community as well. Okay, so another area I want to highlight, we just talked about technically three areas. One was this Pasadena on the Gulf. Then we talked about Jungle Terrace and Jungle Prada, which kind of encompasses this whole area over here. And then right to the northeast of that is Eagle Crest. Now, Eagle Crest is another one of those areas where you're going to find the cobblestone street feel. You're going to just have nice homes. People, really take care of their homes out there. Everybody just likes living in the area. It's a family-friendly area, has a lot of single-family homes for the main part, and it's just a good, nice area. It's next to the Tyrone Mall. So there's amenities, shopping, movie theaters, restaurants, all that. So anywhere in this area, you are really thinking, you got everything at your fingertips. You have the shopping, you have the beaches, you have the quaint communities. You got history lined out in your neighborhood. So it's definitely a cultural area, an area that I would say a lot of people really enjoy. And like I said, because you are a little bit further away from some of these main roads over here, the 19, 275, you don't have as much hustle and bustle. Although you get that from over here at the beaches, unless you go over there, most times people aren't coming across from the beach to the mainland. So those are 3 neighborhoods to definitely keep in mind. The last one, as you can see here, we're sticking within the boundaries here of the red and 275 and over. So once again, West St. Pete is this way and sort of in this kind of like arc, if you want to call it. And we're not, actually it's like that. And the last area I want to highlight for you is called Diston Heights. And that's, you'll see right up here. So we talked about this area here. We talked about this area down here. We talked about Eagle Crest, which is right here. And now we're just shooting up over to Diston Heights, which it could say this whole area here is essentially going to be very similar to Diston Heights. And really, this area is just the same sort of thing. You're going to find single family homes. You're going to have a little bit more condos and mobile homes spread out throughout this area, but it's still one of those areas where it's very family friendly. Everyone has pride in their homes. It's a nice area. Essentially, if you were to do any research on this whole area, minus Child's Park. So there's a website called niche.com, and on there, most of all these areas get a rating of over a B+, I think it was. So technically, you know that you're in a nice neighborhood for the most part if you pick anywhere on the west side of St. Pete in these specific sections. All right, so now that we talked about some of the neighborhoods, I want to take you to a couple really cool gems within St. Pete West. And these are my top 3 favorites. So we're going to start with the first one, and I'm going to hop you on over to this other map so we can really get a good look at it. The first one is called Mazzaro's Italian Market. Now, I don't know about you, but a hot Italian sandwich is super yummy. And if you like desserts, you're gonna like this place too. So if we zoom in here, actually, let me zoom out so we're not getting confused. If we take a look at where we were before, this area right here is downtown St. Petersburg. Now, if you drive up 275 just slightly, or you take one of the back roads right around here, and then you go straight up to this spot right here, you're gonna find Mazzaro's Italian Market. So let's zoom in slowly so you can see where I am. You're off of the 275 and you're going to hit it right here. Now, Mazzaro's is one of those places where you can essentially get everything that you need. It has, like I mentioned before, hot Italian sandwiches. You can get subs, you can get pizzas, you can get gourmet condiments, like direct from Italy, a lot of them. A lot of cheeses and pastas and wine selections. They have fresh foods. It's like almost like a small style farmer's market in a way. They have this adorable coffee bar where you can get a pastry or an Italian sweet and a cappuccino or any kind of coffee that you like. They have just a ton of really cool, fun things. And it all takes place in this market area right here. This place gets packed on holidays and the weekends. So I would recommend visiting it during the week, but you can sit back here in the small pavilion back in the back here and have your sandwiches, your sweet treats. It's a really, really fun place. We've been going there for years and it never disappoints and we always have a great time. So if you're in the area, I would definitely recommend checking out Mazzaro's Market, which is essentially right down from downtown St. Pete. If you, like I mentioned, here's downtown St. Pete at the very, very bottom of the map here. And if you just pop on the 275 and then take a left, you're essentially at Mazzaro's. Okay, we're gonna talk about hotspot number 2. I sort of mentioned this when I was talking about the Eagle Crest area, but we're gonna dig in a little deeper. So we're back out on the map here and you can see all of St. Pete West right here in this whole big area. And we're gonna zoom in to one very particular spot, and that is the Tyrone Mall. And you can kind of see it from far away in this big section right here where you see this big white road. That's sort of like the main road where you're gonna hit like the malls and the movie theaters and all those types of things. And so if we zoom in here, you can see this big, huge section right here. Essentially, this whole area right down here is a mall, an outdoor mall, an indoor mall, all the things mall. You have restaurants, you have shopping, you have everything that you could possibly want in this area. So it's definitely a place to go check out. You can really easily actually get to it from downtown. You can get to it from the north, the south, even if you're coming from the beach area. So it's got just tons of big box and small box stores. It's, like I said before, if you need any type of shopping, even if you're looking for not just clothing, but home goods, furniture shopping, anything like that, you're gonna find it at the Tyrone Mall. It is one of the main essential areas that I would say is a great place to go if you wanna have a fun day out or it's pouring rain in the middle of summer. Definitely a cool place to check out. Okay, so we have zoomed back out and we are talking about the third cool place that I want to highlight for you in West St. Pete. And that is going to be this area right here, right off of Tyrone Boulevard, right above the mall. Here's the mall where my arrow is across here. Right above the mall, right by the water. And that is called the Walter Fuller Park and Recreation Center, also encompassing a couple of other really cool things. So I'll tell you about that. Let's zoom in. You can see it's essentially this big green area. You have the Walter Fuller Park, the Recreation Center, as I mentioned, and this little place called Baseball City St. Pete. So the story behind this area here is that, first of all, besides being an amazing park, as you can see, where you can walk and you can play baseball and sports and you can, play pickleball or tennis down here. They have a pool at the recreation center. Besides being a place where you can literally do all outdoor activities all the time, the Baseball City, essentially right here at the bottom of the screen that you can see, is a really, really just cool little spot. Number one, it's the home to the Little League team, but they have like a lot of tournaments here and tons of events. And you can basically, if you have kids or if you know kids, they're probably going to play sometime on this field, especially if they are in the downtown St. Pete and suburb area. It is just a fun place to go to spend the afternoon, to spend the weekend. And it's really nice because, once again, it's sort of on the outskirts of the main roads. So it's not going to be overly crowded trying to get here. And it's one of those places that if you then are done with a fun day at the ballpark, you can head on over to an amazing restaurant by the Tyrone Mall. So you have a bunch of cool things in St. Pete, and this is just a couple of the gems over in West St. Pete. With that being said, if I zoom you back out, that is pretty much West St. Pete. We got to check out a couple of the really cool areas down south here, a couple of the really cool areas up north. As you can see from this map, the Diston Heights area is all residential, as I mentioned. Really great little areas. And once again, anything kind of near the city, just like South St. Pete, West St. Pete anything a lot of the times close to the area of the city, it's gonna be a, mixing pot. You're not gonna know what you're gonna get. But once you get past that area, the rest is smooth sailing. So I hope that you enjoyed this day of talking about West St. Pete. I think that West St. Pete has some really fun and exciting places, and they're hidden. Just to tell you a quick story here for the very end, in West St. Pete, actually, they have put in a light rail where I guess I wouldn't say a light rail, it's more like a bus rail. And if you want to go to the beach and you don't have transportation, you just wait at the beach bus link and the bus will take you on down to the beach. And then when you're done for the day, it'll take you back. And you'll find that a lot spread out within St. Pete. So that's one of the really cool things about St. Pete in general, but you see that a lot of places in the West St. Pete area. So like I said, I hope that was helpful. If you want to know more about West St. Pete, or if you have a place that's your favorite that you think I should have highlighted, or as always, if you want to tell me about what you think about some of the places that I showed, throw your comments in the description box below. I love to read them, and I had a great day hanging out with you. And as always, I hope to talk to you later.